Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, July 19th, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is moving to introduce digital currency, which is expected to minimize the use of paper currency. Persons in member states will be able to access the digital currency through their smartphones via a secure blockchain network. The ECCB is piloting this project in 4 ECCB countries, which does not include St. Vincent and the Grenadines. However, SVG will be part of the testing phase, as one local bank is said to have shown an interest to participate. Governor of the ECCB, Timothy Antoine, explained that calls have been made to address banks' high costs to conduct business with their debit or credit cards, and the digital currency is one measure they are hoping to fully implement to reduce such costs and drive financial inclusion.
So take credit cards for example. It's available, usage is increasing, but it's an expensive proposition. And as Shiran made the point earlier, we said repeatedly, people ought to pay for the services that they want, not to pay for the payment of services. If you're spending 2% or 10% of a payment or a transaction on the card, on the payment for that service, something is wrong with that picture. And if we're talking about transformation and about shared prosperity, we have to find effective ways using technology to keep more money in people's pocket and let them use it for their particular interests and needs, not to pay somebody. Now, don't misunderstand me, infrastructure has costs. So if you talk to banks, they will tell you they have these costs there because they have to pay for these services. What we say at ECTV, we acknowledge that. But we believe with a digital platform, we are able to lower those costs and give the customer faster, cheaper access and more opportunity.
The ECCB governor said they will be working with remittance services and with credit unions to ease the cost on persons. However, he said it will be a matter of choice for persons in member states to make use of this new service.
We recognize that for some people, depending on where you are in the world, the region, and whatever, you may want to continue to use our physical cash. So if you look at that screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 6 channels available, from physical cash at the top to digital cash at the bottom. And customers can make a choice. Customers will choose based on cost and convenience. So yes, my sister, those who want to continue to use the debit cards may wish to do so. They will have to assess the cost of doing so. But we are very clear that there are some people who do not have debit cards. Because typically, you get a debit card when you have a bank account. They either give it to you for free or they give you an annual charge on it. There are some people who are not in the banking system and therefore they do not have access to debit cards. How do you help these people? What you want to do is to provide a menu, a buffet, a selection of choices where you get to choose.
The pilot project will be done in 2 phases over an 18-month period, following which it will be rolled out in all Eastern Caribbean countries. SVG will again have a presence at the Unity Picnic at the Thousand Island in Toronto, Canada this Saturday, as the Ministry of Tourism further seeks to market the country as the ultimate tourist destination. SVG will be represented by Minister of Culture Cecil Sesmaki, who said that it is an opportunity to promote SVG to the thousands who will be at the event.
At that event, you'll have between 15 and 20,000 persons gathered in one location. So we utilize the opportunity to speak to this gathering of persons, let them know what is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, how they can play a part in the development of tourism and the development of the country generally. So we'll be doing some discussions, not only at the picnic, but we have 2 town hall meetings organized and discussions with the Vincentian groups in Toronto and Montreal.
While in Canada, Minister Mackey is expected to meet with the management of Air Canada Rouge to further talks to have a cargo flight between SVG and Canada.
Particularly looking at the aspect of cargo, because as it is now, because the airline is running, flying most times at over 90% capacity, cargo is out of the question. So we're going to look at what possibilities lie, whether a larger aircraft or a second flight or dedicated cargo flight, to see how we can get our agricultural produce, mainly our seafood, up to the folks, not only Vincentians but other people living in Canada. So this is something that we're looking forward to. We also ensure.
Meanwhile, Minister Mackey said in addition to Canada, they will continue with their roadshows in the other niche markets, which include regional countries, the United States and the United Kingdom. There is often a gap between the skills learned at school and the additional ones which a person needs to be a successful professional. With this in mind, 26 young persons from the SVG Community College are now better prepared to handle the world of work. Today, a number of students who participated in the Flow Sales Academy graduated after successfully completing the training at a ceremony held at the company's Arnesvale facility. The Sales Academy targeted students both in Year 1 and 2 at the SVG Community College and gave them the opportunity to work as interns for 3 months, specifically in the sales department, in which they were trained to operate in a corporate environment. Speaking after the graduation ceremony, Consumer Sales and Marketing Manager Andrea Liverpool said the participants were very enthusiastic about the opportunity given to them and performed tremendously well throughout the program. She took the opportunity to highlight some of the core elements in which the students were trained.
So the core elements were primarily sales, so that was the first part, right? So there were two main areas, which was sales and business ethics. So it was about preparing them for the work environment. So we taught them the importance of basic things that a lot of persons take for granted. Why is it important for you to show up at work on time? Because of course you have persons who are depending on you, while you have customers, both internal and external, depending on you. It's very important that you show up. Basic communication skills, so how do you communicate, right? How do you resolve conflict, right? So those are some of the core things that were taught at the Sales Academy.
Liverpool said she is confident that the skills and knowledge gained will go a long way in building a more well-rounded professional workforce nationwide.
I believe it will, yes, and not just because they were trained in sales, but because, like I said, they were taught basic work ethics, right? One of the things to note as well is teamwork, and teamwork is very important. When you're in a school environment and you're trying to get into the work environment, I realize a lot of the young people, they don't realize that there's a real difference. I'll give you a good example. One day, we were in the office and, just like they behave at college, where sometimes you find them sitting in one another's laps and they take a lot of things for granted. In a business environment, customers are walking in and out. You have, both internal and external customers. You can't sit in laps and play in hairs and those type of things. So it was about, preparing them for the work environment. So in whatever discipline, how you answer persons, how you speak on the telephone, how you communicate in general, right? And how you work as a team.
During the graduation ceremony, Liverpool took the opportunity to thank the students for their participation.
We are eternally grateful. Your contribution has been significant over the past 3 months, so you need to be very aware of how you've affected and influenced our business. So firstly, you need to be aware that you've helped all our customers in ensuring that they continue to create memorable moments. How have you done that? Simply by selling our products and services. So you've helped our customers to stay in touch with their loved ones and to capture all those great moments through data, right? And sharing them with their families who are abroad. You have helped us with our revenue targets, and that's significant, right? So you've helped us to meet our numbers and grow our business. And for that, we are eternally grateful. So thank you. Today, I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you.
The 20 persons from the graduating group were awarded a 3-month extension on their internship. 2 persons were also awarded a 1-year employment contract with Flow. 3 of the participating students took the opportunity to thank the company for the opportunity to improve on their professional skills.
On behalf of all those who are part of the Sales Academy, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for not only giving us the opportunity to become a part of the Flow family, but also seeing potential in each and every one of us. At the Sales Academy, we learned many valuable skills and tools that not only helped us for our job as door-to-door sales agents, but also helped us to prepare for life and our future.
Take time out to thank my mentors, Marsha, Moisha, Keziah, Jason, Loroni, Rios, John Pierre, and my bad driver, Ori. For a job well done in making me one of the most successful interns during my time here at Flow. I would also like to say special thanks to Kimisha and Andrea for granting me this opportunity to have walked this wonderful, who have been working for this wonderful company called Flow. And to my fellow colleagues, I want to thank you guys for appreciating me.
First day at Flow was very challenging. I didn't make any sales and was initially very discouraged. So discouraged that I was even hesitant about returning, but my mentor, Keziah Haynes, he reassured me that every day would not be the same. He shared one of his experiences with me where he said that he once went an entire week and was only able to sell one SIM card. However, he continued to push forward and eventually became the top salesperson of that month. Bearing this little story in mind, I went out every day and decided to give it my best.
398 grade 6 students in 15 primary schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines will receive textbooks under the Zero Hunger Trust Fund, the SVG-TV initiative. The distribution of these books commenced yesterday. The support forms part of a performance enhancement and teaching support program developed by the SVG-TV to assist schools from which children have not consistently performed at the required levels at the CPEA exams. A news release states that in addition to the provision of textbooks, the Zero Hunger Trust Fund will also supply to each school computers and related accessories to enable the students to more easily access resources to enhance their learning and research process. The release said in cases where the Ministry of Education deems that it is necessary, the Zero Hunger Trust Fund will provide teaching support to the students. The Performance Enhancement and Learning Support Intervention is funded by the government of South Korea at a cost of EC $320,000, with the cost of each set of textbooks approximating $400, and the remaining funds going towards the purchase of computer equipment. A 5-day workshop concluded here today with more than 20 teachers being trained to teach children with disabilities, particularly the visually impaired. At the opening ceremony, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of National Mobilization and Persons with Disability, Narissa Gittins-Macmillan, asked that teachers become agents of change, as they can be the ones to change the negative perception society has of the disabled.
There is an opportunity for us all to change mindset. The disabled are not begging us for attention. They deserve it. Just as you and I, able-bodied, they deserve it. It's not a favor we're doing. So in the process of the week that we are here, we can change some mindset. We can set the stage and begin one individual at a time, starting with yourself. If you have the information, you already have the passion, you can talk to somebody else, and that individual can talk to somebody else. And in that way, slowly but surely, we would change the way of thinking of our nationals towards individuals with disabilities.
Gittins-Macmillan said persons who are disabled are the most vulnerable, hence the need for changing mindsets of what these persons can and cannot do.
Persons with disabilities generally happen to be the poorest in the society because most of them are not educated, and they are not given the kind of support which would make them livable, active, economic members of the society. With poverty comes a lot of other ills that society has. So if we look at our girls, for example, they are target for being abused. Remember, they don't have a voice for themselves, and when they reach out to us, they are easily taken advantage of. They are vulnerable. And some of us use that opportunity to take advantage of them. So, ladies and gentlemen,
the Permanent Secretary said that she has relatives who have disabilities and has first-hand knowledge of what it is like to live with a person with a disability.
While the individual from education spoke about disabled not being represented in schools, those of us who are old enough would know that they were not let out from their houses because the population at large did not appreciate, did not understand, were embarrassed to have a disabled child. Having a disabled child was a sin, was a crime, and nobody was supposed to see them, so they were hidden. But I was fortunate that I grew up with my 4D. Miss Gail, you remember that? Yeah. And as far as I am concerned, there is nothing wrong, there is nothing different. It's just a normal, healthy, lovable human being.
The 27th Biennial Conference and General Meeting of the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, the CAPSS, will commence here on Monday at the SVG Community College. Some 400 secondary school principals from throughout the English-speaking Caribbean are expected to participate in the conference, which spans 8 days, under the theme Technology-Infused Education in the 21st Century Caribbean. In a voice recording, President of the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Curtis Graves, said that the conference would address topics which will help with the development of the region's education system.
CXC will play an important role as we look at the E's in CXC, e-testing, the hub, e-learning, and the various activities that will help for the development of our education system. Principals will be informed about how we can work even closer with CXC on these initiatives of the marking, e-testing, and the e-learning hub. Dr. Joel Rarican, our own Vincentian son of the soil, will be speaking about ICT in education and how principals can use the various tools to become more effective in managing schools. We'll also have a session being addressed by Dr. Nicholas Jules.
Graves also spoke of some of the other activities which will be held following Monday's opening ceremony, which is expected to commence at 9 a.m.
During the week, there will be a number of breakout sessions, including a Tech Expo, which will allow principals to see how you can use the various tools in technology to enhance management of schools. On Tuesday evening, we'll have the SVG night, which will feature a number of outstanding local artists. And on Friday evening, our delegates will be involved in a Caribbean night where they themselves will be performing at the community college. Saturday will be the closing ceremony, and during the closing ceremony, a number of outstanding principals who have contributed in the various islands will be honored for their service to education in the Caribbean region. First, in Vincent and Grenadines, we are going to recognize the work of Mr. Curtis King, who is presently the chairman of the local committee, and Mrs. Andrea Bowman, who is also a member of the planning committee. Both principals have been attending CAPS over the years and have done tremendous work in education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As you know, Mr. King, a retired principal of the St. Vincent Grammar School, and Mrs. Bowman is a retired headmistress of the Girls High School. Mrs. Bowman has been recognized for her work, as you know, by a number of organizations, and so Mr. King, and we see it fitting to honor them for their contribution to education in the region.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines last hosted the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools Conference 19 years ago in July 1990.